viewers, and welcome to another exciting Pokemon battle. And today we're having a fierce competition between a Kanto Pokemon team and a Johto Pokemon team. And I'm Tim Sharp, and this is Chris Evans, and we're here to give you the leading edge when watching this Pokemon battle. We are planning to analyze the game from every angle. Now the Kanto Pokemon team, they are quite limited because they can't use Steel or Dark type, save Magneton, but Magneton really isn't that good. So, Chris, how do you think this will affect the battle?
Well, I say when you can't use two types of Pokemon, that generally means they will not show up in your force. Now the other team from Johto, they can use these types of Pokemon, but you know it creates an imbalance in the game. It boom.
Thank you for that interesting insight, Chris. And now, I talked to the coach of the Johto team recently, and he says that he's probably going to be using a Politoed. Now, Chris, how do you think Politoed will influence this epic match?
Well, I say Politoed, he's a water type, which gives him advantages over certain types like ground and rock and fire. So, no, if he had moved like Surf in Ice Beam. Now, should he use Surf on a fire Pokemon, man, it's going to create a lot of steam.
That's very insightful, too. Okay, so the next question, how do you see this turning out? I mean, Kanto, Johto, they're the Gold, Silver, Red, Blue, they're the first two. They're the first two generations of Pokemon, and they're right next to each other. I mean, you just need to walk just a little bit, and you're into Kanto if you're from Johto. Is that not right? Tell me, what do you think about this?
This is true. And, Johto, it starts with a J, and Kanto starts with a K, and I mean, that boom, it pretty much writes itself. There's a rivalry right there. I mean, they're so close, and they're so the same, and they got, the Pokemons, and the fights, and this rivalry, starts off with a little boom, with a punch in the face, and then suddenly goes to the all war.
Thank you, Chris. And this has been a pre-game report by Tim and Chris. And without further ado, here is the Pokemon battle. Chris Evans, everybody.
Hello, everybody. This is TheKillerNacho, and
this is Dr. Doom or Chris Evans. Ha ha ha.
Alright, I'm using a Kanto team, he's using a Johto team, and I lead with Moltres, he leads with Skarmory, but he predicts my fire move and goes into Politoed, but Specs Overheat still does quite a bit.
Well, see, you see, Politoed eats the Fire Blast like a Mexican guy eats a taco, he just consumed it all.
Okay, well, unfortunately he gets the freeze on my Venusaur, and, well, that's not good.
See, when you're frozen, generally speaking, you can't do anything. You're stuck there. You have to sit there unless you want to switch out, but you still got a useless Venusaur later in the fight. So he just sat there.
And I'm just kind of hoping Venusaur wakes up so I'm able to sleep powder, but it just never materializes, and he's going to be able to take down Venusaur.
See now Venusaur. You see his life here just hit 0. Now he's unable to battle for the rest of the fight since you can't use items in a trainer battle.
So I go into Jolteon, I'm just going to Thunderbolt, but he predicts that quite nicely and goes into a ground type, Steelix.
See Steelix, he's got the ground and the steel going. He has got no steel types. He's immune to poison, Thunderbolts, all that kind of good stuff. So he was a good move.
Alright, so Steelix is able to poison Moltres, and Moltres U-turns, and as Chris goes into Houndoom. Now, I go into Slowbro, and that's kind of a misplay because I don't know what I was thinking, so I go into Machamp to eat the Dark move, and he does it quite well. And, yeah, Machamp is looking pretty nice, and Chris is just going to try to burn my Machamp by using Will-O-Wisp, but I Dynamic Punch for the kill.
See, now, Dynamic Punch is a very painful move. Now, if you get hit by it, it's going to hurt, it's like this boom, punch in the face.
So now Chris goes in Espeon, and I'm looking through my team, and I have really nothing to hurt Espeon. I go into Slowbro, because I'm kind of hoping his only attack move is Psychic, but he does carry the Shadow Ball, and that's going to nearly kill Slowbro, as I Calm Mind.
See, now, when you Calm Mind, you get stronger. And when you get stronger, you do more damage, you're more powerful. And the more powerful you are, the greater difference in ability you have between you and your opponent.
So Chris predicted a switch and decided to Calm Mind, but I actually took the opportunity to slack off. And now I'm going to switch, and I decide to go into Moltres, almost kind of as death fodder.
See, the taking the hit from the Calm Minds, did a lot of damage to Moltres. However, I made the mistake of not finishing off his Moltres and Calm Minded instead.
Yes, and that cost him because a costly crit of overheat from Moltres is going to take down Espeon. And I guess that kind of, it kind of returned for his freeze earlier. And now he does go into Politoed, and there's not a whole lot I can do.
The critical hit, made me meant to do more damage. I didn't think I was going to die, but I died instead. So my Politoed went out and he went beast mode. He went beast mode.
So now I go back into Jolteon. I kind of predict the switch into Steelix, so I decided just to go for Hidden Power Grass, because I know it'll do a lot of damage to Politoed anyway. This is my Choice Specs Jolteon, so it does some nice damage to Steelix, as I go back into Machamp.
See, now I hit him with the Earthquake type move, and he eats it quite well. But then I make the mistake of not finishing off his Machamp.
Yes, Chris actually runs speed on a Steelix, which is strange, because Steelix should not run speed. But he's actually faster than Machamp, but he doesn't know this at this point. So he decides to switch, and I get the rest off, which turns out to be awesome. And he switches into Skarmory.
See, I switch into Skarmory because he can eat the Dynamic Punch for breakfast, and he can even eat a Stone Edge too.
Yeah, so I'm going to Sleep Talk and Stone Edge his Skarmory as he sets up some spikes, and I really don't want him to set up 3 layers of spikes, but unfortunately there's nothing I can do because I keep getting the Stone Edge off the Sleep Talk.
And then he go and boom, wake up, and he punch me in the face with Dynamic Punch, but I got through the confusion and laid that last layer of spikes down as Machamp's feet.
And that turns out to be pretty bad, because now every time a Pokemon without flying comes in, he's going to take 25% from spikes, and that's just not good at all. So I go with a Dynamic Punch, and that will KO the Skarmory.
25% of the damage, that's like a quarter of your life right there in one hit. I mean, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
So now Chris goes back into Steelix, and now we discover that he does outspeed me, and he just explodes.
Yeah, now, when I exploded, both Pokemon in the battlefield died. Now, when that happens, there is no longer a contestant left on the field.
Thank you for that interesting information. So I go into Jolteon, and I know that he doesn't have anything to... he already lost his ground, and he goes into Scizor. So I know Thunderbolt, he has nothing to take it, so I decide just to go for the Thunderbolt. But Chris thinks he's going to survive and just X Scizors, and what ends up happening after the Life Orb, both Pokemon go down.
Yeah, now this was a similar situation with the explosion, where both Pokemon in the fight were dead, and then 2 new Pokemon had to come into the battle.
Yes, indeed. So now Dragonite comes out and just Dragon Claws the Politoed, but because this is a special defense Wall Dragonite, he does survive the Ice Beam. So how do you feel about that, Chris?
Now the Ice Beam survival means I didn't kill you, and if I didn't kill you, that means I didn't win, and I lose.
So thanks for watching Kanto vs. Johto, Tim Sharp against Chris Evans, and I really hope you will rate, comment, and subscribe. And also, Chris has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of Godzilla movies, so I'll leave the link in the description. Check him out. You might, if you like Godzilla, especially. So, Chris, please talk about your channel.
Well, you see, it's got, giant monsters going, the boom, blowing each other up, making your heads are flying and body parts and pieces, and, the great Japanese people, they made lots of things, it exploded. They're good at that.
Alright. Thank you. Chris Evans, everybody, and see you next time.